Hello and welcome to the June edition of Curious Sparks, which is a monthly roundup of what's new in digital culture, social media and technology. In this edition we'll be covering what's new in creative advertising formats. We'll be looking at social updates, social commerce, NFTs, augmented reality and much more besides. Starting off with creative ad formats. So this month, TikTok announced two new ways that brands can reach their audience. The first is called a branded mission, in which brands set the parameters of videos that they want. So they set essentially a mission for TikTok creators, and the creators then will go off and create the videos, and the ones that most closely match the mission and have a positive response will get automatically boosted with the brand's name attached to it. TikTok also introduced Pulse, which is a format for advertisers to put their branded TikToks next to the top trending content on the platform. Google also announced a new advertising format which will appear in shopping results and will allow brands to put rich, more vibrant, large imagery in amongst the results, and will also let them notify people about any loyalty schemes that are running. Still in Google Shopping, Google is going to start surfacing 3D augmented reality models from web pages into search results. So if you're a brand like Wayfair or IKEA that already uses 3D AR previews, they will appear automatically in search results, which is great for the consideration phase of the e-commerce journey. Meanwhile, in the loyalty, engagement and service phases, there's a lot going on in messaging, so WhatsApp is really doubling down on business messaging. That's recently launched a cloud API so that businesses of all sizes can use WhatsApp Business, not just using the app, but now using third-party tools. And Klarna launched virtual shopping, which is a way for sales assistants to kind of take on more responsibility of direct selling, so they can create videos, live streams, they can create one-to-one engagements with their customers, and it's allowing them a bit more autonomy and a bit more social experience. Still in social, and the TikTokification of rival platforms continues. YouTube Shorts recently introduced a green screen effect, just like TikTok, and Meta released a huge update for Reels on Instagram and Facebook, including desktop editing, clipping and scheduling, and allowing custom sounds, lots more tools just to bring them up to speed with what TikTok already offers. But the biggest change was the announcement of a trial that Instagram is going to go to single full-page swiping content feed by default. Yes, just like TikTok. TikTok itself is getting better at crediting the creators of viral videos and content, something that's been criticized for in the past. You can now more easily credit where you got your inspiration from a video. Twitter continues its push into community and close friends with a feature called Circle, which lets you choose up to 150 of your favorite, preferred, VIP, whatever you want to call them, and send your tweets only to those if you choose to. And Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, is introducing its own social community app called Campfire. It will start with the Ingress game that it makes before making its way to Pokemon Go, and eventually all of its outdoor AR properties. And this is focused on meetups, virtual meetups and real-life meetups, and doing things with people who share your interests, which is a big shift that we're seeing across social in general. One way that's used to reward and gate and invest communities is NFTs, and the link in bio service Linktree recently released an NFT-focused update. One of the big things is essentially gating off content so that only users who hold certain NFTs can access the content behind it. Another one is just being able to display the NFTs you own, because if you own an NFT, is it really valuable if nobody can see that you own it? It's kind of like collecting physical art. So that's something that we're seeing frequently as well. And Instagram announced that it's going to start showing digital collectibles in the feed, so you can connect your wallets, you can show off your NFTs. When it appears in the feed, it has a slight shimmer effect to show it's not just a regular image. But also in a future update, you'll be able to tap a button and preview the NFT as sort of like a portrait on your wall. The rush of brands into immersive social spaces continues unabated. The latest is Samsung, who's released a space with the artist Charlie XCX. She's going to be doing a concert in the space later this month. Spotify launched its own Roblox Island last month. That's now had a huge update with the K-Park space, which is based on K-pop and features appearances by K-pop artists. Gucci's got into the Roblox game. It released Gucci Town, which it promises to continue to update with new areas, new collectibles, and you can of course buy digital Gucci clothes. And the Cannes Film Festival has gone into the metaverse for the first time this year. It's got an island on Fortnite with some activity challenges based around different professions, and it's also released a social VR space where you can preview all of the VR experiences that are in competition this year. The big and exciting trend to me anyway is for augmented reality meeting the real world. AR has frequently been about our faces, ourselves and the immediate area around us, but new technical breakthroughs are making it about exploring the world around us. Snapchat partnered with Live Nation to enhance the Electric Daisy Carnival Festival with a whole load of lenses that are exclusive to users of that festival, including things like social tools, ways to meet your friends, as well as more visual experiential enhancements. And Niantic, who I mentioned earlier, the makers of Pokemon Go, they've just released a big upgrade to their Lightship platform called the Visual Positioning System, which uses scans made up from all of the data of Pokemon Go and Ingress players to create spots around the world that you can use as a basis for augmented reality experiences. They're obviously mostly focused in cities so far, but it's an open platform. It's also coming to the web, so I expect we'll see lots of experiences in the near future that are based around maps and location. At I/O this year, Google announced Immersive View for Maps, which is incredibly high quality, automatically generated map data like Google Earth to the next level. So when you search for a place in Google Maps, like Westminster in London, for example, it will give you this beautiful fly through of the area of like a visual preview that includes real-time weather and day and night cycles. And this same data that's being used to create this incredibly rich map is also part of another Google announcement, which is the Geospatial API. The Geospatial API is like Niantic's Lightship. It's a sort of a visual positioning system. So it combines map data with what you see in your camera to be able to locate things to a very fine degree. And that's useful for everything from telling you where you need to leave your hire bike to creating games and virtual experiences that enhance the world around you, that make them very playful. And again, I'm super excited by this because of how much it kind of stops being so focused inwards and starts focusing outwards, which is, I think, a positive for everybody. One more thing that ties into this as well, which was announced around I/O, is what's called Immersive Stream for XR, which is essentially using Google's cloud service to stream very high definition, very high quality models to your phone, where they can be used as augmented reality. It's, if you know Google Stadia or even Netflix or something like that, streaming technology can also be applied to augmented reality models, to 3D models, which means that effectively it removes the file size limits from augmented reality. So combine this with map data and with the geospatial API, and suddenly you get the building blocks of something incredibly new and incredibly rich, which uses the real world and high definition augmented 3D models. It's very early days. I'm super excited to see where it goes. All of this, of course, will be made better with augmented reality glasses, and while we don't have them yet, and they're not likely to appear anytime in the next 5 years, we are starting to see early works in progress. At I/O, Google showed off a pair of glasses which will automatically transcribe and translate text as it's spoken and display them in your glasses. These don't seem like a real product to me, they're more of a vision. But what is real is the Qualcomm XR2, which is a reference design for a pair of augmented reality glasses. That means that Qualcomm's actually not going to be making them and selling them, but the plans for other companies to be able to make these, and they actually work. They're very thin, they're very light. That means they don't have a lot of battery life, and the lenses are not super great. But all of the data is streamed from your phone, so there's no cables. Again, this is kind of like, the grandfather clock compared to the digital clock. Where these things have got to go, there's still many years, but we can start to see the beginnings of something happening. And recently, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook showed off Project Cambria, which is Facebook's next generation VR or mixed reality headset. You can see it pixelated out here because it's top secret. But what it does is it uses video camera pass-through to be able to see the world around you, but also to enhance it with digital objects and items, which also have a sense of what's in the room. They know what's a door, they know what's a window, they know what's a wall. So it can be responsive and playful and mixed with the real world. And again, you can start to see the beginnings of something here. One more thing from Google I/O. Google announced that Google Lens is used 8 billion times every single month now. It's no longer only on Android phones, it's on iPhones, it's built into Search, it's built into Google Images, it's built into Chrome, but there's a huge growth in the use of Google Lens. Earlier this year, Google showed off MULTISEARCH, which enables you to use Lens to get a result and then use text to refine the result. And at I/O, it announced that it's going to tie that into map data too, and with more types of result. So you'll be able to see a picture of a dish that you like, take a photograph of it, or see it on the web, and right-click it, and ask Google Lens to find that near you, and it will direct you to a store or to a restaurant that sells that dish. Not available yet, but coming soon. And also announced at I/O was Multiscan, which is Google Lens applied to multiple objects at the same time instead of one at a time as it does now. So hold up your phone, it detects loads of different things on the scene, and you can refine and research based on what Lens sees. And finally, there's a new generative image system in town. It's called Imagine. It comes from Google Research, and what it does is it turns text into photographs. So you can say, for example, a small cactus wearing a straw hat and neon sunglasses in the Sahara Desert, and it will generate that image for you. This type of thing's been around for a few years now. What Imagine does that nobody else does is it generates incredibly high resolution, detailed, photorealistic results. So we're very close to, or I'd say we're at the beginning of a journey where we would be able to generate stock imagery on the fly without having to wait for somebody to photograph it first. Although this is a thing that exists, they're not releasing it publicly just yet until they've investigated all the possible ways that the data that feeds the system could be biased, or all the possible avenues for abuse that it has for people using it for to dangerous ends. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back with a new report next month.